I'm presenting for theme 4. My name's Avi. My co-leads are there. I'm presenting on behalf of them and the broader thematic matrix. I hope you're starting to see some real areas of overlap, be it cancer biology, clinical trials, access to innovative therapies. All of those bleed into one another, and all of those, I think, touch on the sort of ambit for the work of our particular thematic matrix, which is regulation, policy, and economics. So maybe the one with the most potential for synaptic plasticity across the whole consortium. Philip, I loved your diagram. I really think that there's opportunities for the work of this matrix and potentially many of them to feed into one another. I'd love to talk about that in respect of cancer biology. I'm going to present to you today just quickly the vision and objective that we've set for ourselves, and describe one project that's already underway with funding through CPC or ACCESS. I got to stop saying CPCC. But I think what I'm excited about for the next couple of days is opportunities to look across all of the matrices and see where issues around regulation in Canada, legislation, the policies that are in place, and some economic considerations can really impact how we're doing things across the matrices and for the consortium more generally. So our vision, which probably coheres with, I think, that of ACCESS generally and all of the matrices, is for equitable, efficient, and sustainable cancer care for all Canadian children and youth. And we want to achieve that in our realm through a rigorous program of health policy and systems research to enable evidence-informed policies and programs to that end. And it's this systems lens that I think this group can uniquely bring to bear for ACCESS generally, and we'd be delighted to try to bring that to bear for all the different matrices. So for the project underway, and I'd really like to credit Celine Cressman here, who's a senior research associate in my lab, who's leading this work. The first thing we decided to focus on with input from the broader matrix really was on innovative diagnostics in Canada, the access to them for children with cancer, how that compares with international jurisdictions, and how that access looks across Canadian provinces at the national level, at various provincial levels, to understand equity and access and understand some of the barriers. We're doing that with a view to understanding what the landscape looks like right now, but also to helpfully describe an ideal future state where we can get to. And access and equity are central lenses through which we want to see all of that. So in terms of methods, we're undertaking what's a little bit different in that it's health policy systems research. It's going to be largely qualitative, case study-based comparative analyses, both interprovincially and internationally with selected jurisdictions, scoping review of literature, and an array of key informant interviews and policy document analyses. We're going to try to focus on some exemplar technologies, and I think this is an area where over the course of the next couple of days, we'd really like input from those involved with innovative diagnostics for children with cancer in Canada and more broadly. We've identified some here through our core project team, but I think this deserves some critical scrutiny and potential expansion. And we, again, really want to understand regulatory, health technology assessment, budgetary, and health system implementation factors in seeking to understand which children with cancer are getting access to which diagnostics and where. We also have parallel work underway in the realm of therapies, so on the flip side of the coin. And I think a lot of that dovetails really nicely with what Daniel presented and with what Derek presented. And so hopefully we'll have some time over the course of the next couple of days to dig into that too. In terms of anticipated impacts, so short term, I mentioned this descriptive map. And long term, really hopefully comparing findings beyond Canada with best practices and lessons we can learn from other jurisdictions like the UK, Australia, and elsewhere. And hopefully developing a refined list of recommendations so that there are harmonized pathways for access to genome diagnostics for children and young adults with cancer in Canada. So I'll stop there. I'm really looking forward to